we are we are living in this world of huge change that is happening all around us. Technology is redefining the way we live our work life and our personal life. It's touching almost every aspect of how we conduct ourselves. Innovation is driving the emergence of new forms of business. We have seen firms grow that were non existent, powered by digital technologies. Firms like Uber or Airbnb, Paytm, Flipkart, the likes of the same, with very little investments in physical infrastructure, but capitalizing on digital assets, they have emerged from almost very little investment to multi-billion-dollar enterprises. And having said that, so the kind of entrepreneurship that we are witnessing is radically very different from what we have witnessed in the brick and mortar culture. And in addition to all of that, we are also seeing a higher need for more tolerance, more empathy, have the citizens of the future who are more balanced and also can take care of their lives. With this huge competition and the need for achievement, there is also a balance to be achieved in terms of how do they manage their stress, how do they conform to the principles of integrity and honesty. So, as educational leaders, the responsibility is so much higher to create those balanced individuals in the society so that we have a more livable world. So education can play great role in kind of providing these learning opportunities, counseling opportunities, and create transformative learning experiences for the students in our school. And parents and teachers are two entities who can have a defining role in how people grow up and how do they contribute to the society. So we have a very eminent and a very distinguished panel with us today. Personally, I have seen each one of them being a harbinger of change and driving innovation in their own ways in their schools. And they have taken this mandate of bringing the world to their school, driving transformative experiences with the faculty, with the students on a daily basis, and bringing a lot of passion to their work. So before we go ahead with the discussion, I would like to briefly introduce the panel. We have Mrs. Mohini Bindra. She is the principal of Ramjas School and has been the guiding light and spirit behind what the school stands for today. She's spent 40 years with the institution, building it brick by brick and creating wonderful students who've contributed positively to the society as well. A recipient of President's Award for her work in education. She has numerous laurels and author of multiple 4 books in physics as well. Welcome, Mrs. Bindra. We have Mrs. Jyoti Gupta, who is again a very distinguished academic, has contributed in the education space for more than 24 years, building up a great institution. She's the principal of DPS Ghaziabad and has been a recipient of multiple honors from the president and has associated with big programs like Uran, and has also, there is an Atal Tinkering Labs that she's got set up with the help of Niti Aayog at her school. A very, very promising individual and leading change from the front. We have Mrs. Sajita Bharti. She is the principal of Titan School, and I had an opportunity to visit her school a few months back. It's a school that's located a few kilometers away from Bangalore, but I was overwhelmed with the spirit of humility and a combination of arts and cultural experience that she has created at her school. We saw very young students across grades involved in coding and gamification, and it was indeed a delight to walk through those corridors and classrooms. So welcome, Mrs. Bharti. And we have Mrs. Deepa Gandhi, who is the IT HOD at the Sun City School. She is an Microsoft Innovative Expert Educator. And the association has been phenomenal. They have about 5,000 students and 250 faculty. and she joined the Microsoft community, and she went through certain training programs. So from a single, there was a huge support from Mrs. Chakravarti, who is the principal of the Sun City School. And her contributions symbolize the empowerment at its best in a school setting. She created a community of multiple teachers and students, 5,000 students, all using technologies to collaborate, critical thinking, and very young children, as young as 7 or 8 year old, doing gamification. When a vice president visited the school, he said, when you grow up, you can hire me as an employee in your organization. So we have this delightful panel here, and I would like to begin with the discussion now. So my first question is to Mrs. Jyoti Gupta. You have been a great change leader with entire 5,000 students and 400 plus teachers using technology at your school. And you have used that for collaboration and have done pilots with OneonOne Learning, creating unique learning experiences for your students. So please share your thoughts on how technology has enabled digital transformation at your school, and how would you calibrate the impact of the work that you have done?
Thank you so much, Viniji. First of all, I would like to thank Microsoft and you um, for bringing in so much of change, for helping me bring in so much of change in my school. 4 years back, I would like to share with everybody, we were picked up by Microsoft for being a Microsoft Showcase school. At that time, there were only 5 schools in the entire country which were picked up as the Microsoft Showcase school. And we got a chance to pilot a project with Microsoft on one-on-one learning, where some devices were given to us, and we gave those devices to the children. And the children, each of the children in the classroom had the devices, and I picked up a class which was a cross section of the capabilities or the abilities of the children. There were children who were very bright in the class, there were children who were not so bright, there were children with learning disabilities in the class also. And we started the pilot where for 3 months the children learned the subjects, whatever we were teaching, through those devices. The idea was to bring in a lot of collaboration into the class, where the children could collaborate with each other even while they were not physically sitting together. And there was anytime, anywhere learning. So the teachers sat down together to create the modules which were uploaded onto the devices as well as onto the server. So the children were expected to do the work in the school and at home. And at the end of and we were also carrying out the e-assessments through the devices. And after 3 months, when we actually saw the progress of the children, there was a marked difference in the performance of all the children at all levels. That is, the children with the disabilities also showed a lot of improvement there. The children who were bright were engaged throughout, so there was something that was there for them even after they had finished the work. The children who wanted the one-on-one training, those who were lagging behind in the classroom, those who had for some reason not understood what was going on in the class, so they had the engagement even after the school hours at home. The teachers were online with the children and they were collaborating with them. The results were so encouraging that it actually made me go towards one-on-one learning in my school. So all teachers were trained onto OneNote. So the entire lesson plan of all the teachers came onto the OneNote with the entire classroom transaction, with the NCRT book content, with the assignments we were making, and we had video recorded all the classes. So everything is available to the children through the OneNote, and there was a lot of hard work that was done by the teachers here. So now for classes 8 onwards, we are moving on to one-on-one devices. So the technology has actually helped the children engage better. The technology has helped them to perform better, and the teachers are more engaged also. So there is flipped classes that we do through the devices. Every Saturday is a home study day for the children. So through the OneDrive, the work is given to the children, and the children use that. They do the work, and when they come back to the school on Monday, they have already done the topic, and they engage in a more meaningful discussion, and they go on to the next level in their learning.
Thank you. So, Sajida, we would like you to share your perspectives on how coding and gamification has rendered itself to unique learning experiences at your school. So, request you to kindly share your thoughts.
So, good afternoon, everybody. Continuing, our association of, we believed in technology. We believed that technology is there to stay in education, and at the very right time, right things happen. So, I think at that time, Microsoft and we got associated, and being a Microsoft Showcase school, we got opportunities to understand many of the tools that could be used in academics. And like I thank Dr. Vidhi Jory for a very kind introduction she made about our school. So at the heart of our school is, we've always believed in providing experiences in art, music, dance, theater, sports, gardening, clay modeling, pottery, basket weaving, and also handloom. With this as the base, we embrace technology in its current avatar. So what we need is the infrastructure. We have an infrastructure that has a power edge server, an internet gateway, and a fully equipped computer lab, classroom computers with networks, Wi-Fi, and high definition display units across classrooms, which provided the base for gamification, because we needed the hardware that is needed for the for to take this gamification through. So the next step was what? The hardware is in place. So we needed training of our teachers. So this is what we believed in, that we have to handhold the teachers and take them through. So it was a very joint decision with the teachers and our qualified computer teachers and our MIEs, that is a Microsoft Innovator Educators, provided the in-house training and constant support to the teachers. And what we decided was, we will not give any deadlines to any teacher. This would be given to them and they could take it at their own pace. So there was no deliverable, there was no fear of failure. That is what we ensured. So to integrate gamification in the school, like Kodu and Minecraft, we created an environment. First, an environment has to be created for the teachers. For them, they have to move out of their current type methods of teaching, and we provided equal opportunities for everybody to learn and try new areas, to encourage involvement beyond classrooms and textbooks, and transparency in all interactions. So, how did we embrace gamification as a new form of learning and mentorship was the question for me. So, with these following objectives in mind, we approach gamification. Interactive and hands-on approach, which creates interest in students with enhanced level of involvement. Easy to relate different concepts in a joyful manner. And the most important is the algorithmic approach taught at a very young age helped them to think logically and to give them a sense of accomplishment on successful completion of the tasks. There was no assessment and there was no examination for any of this. So all these effects we saw were very visible in our children. And for teachers, the effect on gamification was it was very easy for them to explain difficult concepts, and it improves efficiency in teaching and effectiveness in learning. And most important, it's a ready reference resource. It's available all the time. They don't have to create it. Then, based on our identified needs, the MIEs and our computer teachers were asked to identify software that could easily be used by both the teachers and the students, that can run on our existing IT infrastructure, which requires minimum technical support, and most importantly, it should support animation for gamification. So Microsoft, the MIEs came out as O365, Kodu, Minecraft, Alice, and Kahoot. These are all platforms that are provided by the Microsoft, and the teachers were trained and made to understand by spending times and being hands-on, Before taking it to the class, the teachers were asked to explore. The students were introduced to the software, and they took to it like fish to water. I think they went on to teach the teachers a little more than the teachers themselves. Then the students created games and mastered the applications to higher levels, exhibited higher order thinking with enormous creativity and ownership. For example, you'll be able to see the Kodu. Kodu is used by students of classes 5, 6, and 7 for integrating it as a game for lessons like pollution, afforestation, where they actually make games and then they play. The concepts that are in lessons actually are converted into games. Yeah. And Minecraft, that is used by students of 6 and 7, and it helps them to think logically and helps them to in creative thinking and building various divergent scenarios. Using different scenarios, children are able to make games. That is the whole idea of Minecraft. And we saw enormous impact both on the teacher and the students. Teachers' role shifted from delivery to engagement, opportunity to learn and use new technology and methods. Like most of our teachers started using Sway as a methods of explaining concepts to the children. And most important, going beyond textbooks and classrooms. In fact, going beyond all boundaries. The Skype connected us across the world. And the emphasis moved from individual work to group work. And of course, on students, it was at the most impactful learning. Our first standard children are waiting for their computer classes. I mean, they are late for every other class, but for a computer class, they come 5 minutes ahead, and they wait because it was hands-on and experiential. It provided very joyful learning experiences, and instant feedback made them reflect and help them, to understand the concepts better in a very, what do I say, no, in a non-threatening environment. And most of all, it served our purpose. It enhanced grades across levels. It gave us our marks. So this is how we integrated technology and gamification. Thank you.
So you've seen how gamification leads to new learning scenarios. In fact, the study of civilizations, there are beautiful projects using Minecraft where you could create learning experiences around learning history or designing smart cities or learning the concept of mathematics and economics. So the diversity is huge. It is upon the innovation of a teacher as to how those assets can be used to create these learning scenarios. So my next question is to Mrs. Bindra. Your school has been a confluence of culture, and it was a pleasure to witness and walk through your maths labs, arts and science labs, and more importantly, on how the arts teacher was collaborating with the arts teachers worldwide to create new forms of learning art and also critiquing art as well. There was a beautiful exhibition that was put together and it was very inspiring. So, would you like to share in terms of learning languages and art forms, how the transformation has happened in your school?
Okay, friends, all great ideas begin with a commitment to the future, and it is this strong commitment with which we nurture the students of the school to be the new citizens of the country. We nurture them so that they are responsible children, they know all, and above all, they have a set of the ideals that in front of them. That is, they have at the core of all of it the basics. That is, I'll just sorry, just it is basically the values which are important in my school, and we make sure that there is no compromise on those values. And with this at the core, we work in our school at Ramja School, Pusa Road. We are one of the have-nots as compared to Jyoti's school, because in her school all the children will have a device which my children may not have. I also, even she must be catering to the students coming from EWS category, and they literally cannot afford anything. So we have to cater to them as well. And how we go about doing this is something which you will have to come and witness in our school. I did not emerge as a leader. I think I did not ask any teacher to do anything. I did not lead them into anything. On the contrary, in our school, we distributed the leadership. Every teacher was a leader, and every child was a performer who started showing things, who took the lead themselves. So it's not that anybody was leading the school, it was self motivated teachers who led on to various projects. Regarding the things that ma'am saw in my school, you see, since everyone felt he or she was the leader, the art teacher was the one who came to me. I'm the one who I don't have a computer and I need it. And then we decided, okay, we'll provide you with a computer. And she did wonders with the computers. She took her children on vicarious trips through Skype and other sessions, to art galleries, to museums. She herself became a teacher on the Skype and started teaching her style of art to the whole world. And she was connecting her children to the other children all over the world and learning from them their styles of painting. And she was doing much more than that, and everything was being imbibed by the children also. The complete designing of our magazine was done in her lab, and all other things that we printed were designed on her computer by her and her children. And other thing which ma'am saw was maths lab. We I can we everybody has a maths lab. There is nothing new about that. And in that, I will tell you what my teachers are doing in the maths lab. We celebrate a maths week in which we want that everyone should engage beyond the textbook, and it should not be anything related to their textbooks. So they learn different things like Desmos, they learn, and they prepare. I saw it myself. They had prepared an Akshardham with the equations that they learned in mathematics. They had created a Taj Mahal through the help of Desmos, and there was fluid mathematics which they were using to draw graphs and other curves. They were using gaming as well, and the gaming was being used to uh, they were using the formulae that they were being taught. And for the first time, I have studied mathematics till my master's, and I tell you that when we were studying, we never knew the uh, where would this thing get used. Like matrices we studied, but I really didn't know where matrices would be used. Now our children are showing us where all matrices would be used, what is the use of the equations that we learned, how are they going to be used in real life. All this is done in the mathematics week. And there are so many other software that they start using and displaying things. Another thing that we have is a science week in which every child has to, first of all, do hands on activity, and then take it further up with technology. So it's not just hands-on. Hands-on is extremely important for me, and how they follow it up with technology was really amazing. And one of the students I saw in the seminar that they conducted was teaching the theory of relativity. And believe me, I taught physics for quite some time, but I could never teach relativity the way my student was teaching. He used technology, and it was a beautiful presentation as to how he showed a fourth dimension, how he showed the time dilation or length contraction. All these were so beautifully represented with the help of technology that it seemed that probably everyone could understand relativity, which in our times was really abstract and very difficult to understand. So, this is how things have gone on in all the departments, even in engineering graphics, which where we have computer aided designing, and every child is required to prepare a model or uh, do some project with computer aided design. In science, we have 3D projection lab specially designated for 3D projections, and the children actually see that science does come alive to them in those moments when they are watching things. So, this is all about science, and I can tell you, even in social science, my teachers do a lot of Skype sessions, and their next demand is kindly make a Skype room. So, this is how things have moved on. I think I am not leading in my school. It is the teachers who are the leaders, and it is the children who are performing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing those insights. And now we move on to Deepa Gandhi. Building deeper contact connects with the community, and stepping beyond the boundaries of your school, you have brought together a change in bringing multiple teachers and students to relook at how they interact in the classroom, and also showcase leadership in terms of driving coding, entrepreneurship, and connecting with larger number of schools, teachers, and communities. So would request you to share your perspectives on how you have leveraged the technology to drive deeper bonds with students, teachers, parents, and peer network.
Thank you, ma'am. If I look at fostering bonds with students, teachers, and peer networks, I think the bonds are never created, they are shared.
I think just
And-
speak a little loudly.
Yes.
I think.
Okay. To foster bonds between teachers, parents, and peer networks, we never create bonds. I think we share the bonds. And that is what exactly I have done. And all the people who are sitting here, the esteemed people I have in this room, all are using technology to their very best. To me, if I look up, every human being is a software. Now, how it is possible? Because the true functionality and efficiency of a colleague ensures that he or she will carry out their responsibilities towards the students. When I interact with my colleagues, that is my teachers, I look up to them as he or she is preserved as a backup. And when I interact with my students, I feel they are configured as a new system. So concluding into a computer system, because I'm a computer teacher, so to me, every teacher is actually a backup and every student is a new system. So how I have indulged into is that I have interacted and made possible to reach to every student and teacher, despite of the fact if they have not come up with any abilities or whatever efficiencies and responsibilities they are sharing up, I have reached up to them. At Sun City, we have not left any untouched area regarding reaching up to the students, being an MI, from starting from holiday homeworks to curriculums to syllabus to assemblies to quiz being conducted using Kahoot to all presentations which were converted, PowerPoint presentations which were converted into Sway, trainings to more than 200 teachers, and reaching beyond the schools, the boundaries of the schools, is collaborating with extended schools. That is more than 15 schools that we got connected with, and we trained all the teachers over there, approximately 25 teachers per school we had trained them. Now, peer teaching, normally peer teaching students, teachers think that we do it in the school one-to-one, but we did it with Skype. Clubs, when normally we think about, we have taken up clubs with using Skype. Anybody thinking over here, Home Science Club was taken up using Skype, where students were actually learning the dishes using the Skype technique. So this was another innovative method that we had implemented. Office 365 in our school, tablets in our classrooms. Every competition of MI which we participated as teachers was converted into competitions at school. So we didn't leave any gap. If you have been a part of MI annual meet, we also converted the marketplace in our school in our week. That is our computer and art week that we normally have, the week themes that we have in our school. So all that was converted into a marketplace where grade 5 students, the junior students, were exploring their own world and selling their paintings through and Sway presentation using their tablets, which were provided. So another experience that was taken up. Newsletter documentation that we've done it on OneNote. So all areas, as you can dream of, we had collaborated and connected with using Microsoft applications, using OneNote, Sway, Kodu, Minecraft. Extensively, Kodu and Minecraft tutorials were prepared by the students, and very surprisingly, our students trained the teachers in Willems Boys School. Chandeep ma'am, you must be aware about it. Yes. And they had a very widest of the exposures, so we had a great time in Willems also. Class 9th did a paperless campaign on OneNote. So one day our school was a paperless day. So we promoted using of OneNote. So the teacher had to come to the class and had to teach her own subject using OneNote, not using the books, not using any paper, and the worksheets were actually sent using OneNote, and the assignments were brought in by students using OneNote. So this was another step that was taken by Sun City, and I really feel proud about it. One major step which we took in this our week was, that is our art and ICT week, was each one to teach one. So all the students actually educated the drivers, the government school students who were actually acquainted about the computer system, the paint. Maybe we have not touched the OneNote or the Sway or Minecraft or Kodu, but we actually made them aware about how to switch on a system, what a computer can do, the some do's and don'ts, what we should look into it while we are uploading our pictures on Facebook. Such kind of activities was taken up by our students also. QR codes extensively used in our school for every area. If I look into, our students took up the projects, and those projects were highlighted by them using the websites and their own portals, the blogs which they had created as a project work, in which they made their own visiting cards with QR codes, with including OneNote links and Sway links and their website links into it. So anywhere, anybody who wants to access using those QR codes as displayed in the marketplace during the annual meet, they had extensively used. So, and the list goes on and on for our hard work being done in Sun City School. I never realized when this me from an MIE turned into a we. So you and me, actually, if we combine ourselves as we, will make a lot of difference, and I think we'll be reaching up to heights. This journey has not been very easy, because uh, 1 year we were not able to understand what exactly we were supposed to do. In 6 months, we gauged into it, and we earned a lot of laurels, and we had Anthony Salcido visiting, and very renowned people visiting our school. And within a span of 6 months, and I see myself sitting here and in front of you, talking and interacting with really honored and esteemed guests and principals too. So my resource for uniting everyone to function as a unit on the motherboard lies in my enthusiasm for work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I have two very quick questions, and would request you to just answer in one line each. So the first one is, what is your key message to the leaders and teachers to drive transformational learning at the schools? Just one sentence, one key message. So we can begin with you, Sajita.
I believe it is strong belief, commitment, and total involvement of all stakeholders.
Transformational learning can happen if we have the right mix of IQ, EQ, TQ, and SQ. SQ being the spiritual quotient. We need to have this along with the other Qs so that the real transformation takes place.
Thank you.
The debate of having the technology in the classrooms or not having it has gone. So now we have to see how to leverage the technology in order to shape up the 21st century skills of these children.
To create a vision, to believe in that change, to identify that change, and guide and execute it with the team.
Thank you. And the last question is that what is the one key success factor for precipitating transformational learning? One key success factor, though there is an overlap, but still would like to hear from you.
Well, creating an environment that encourages new opportunities and willingness to try new technologies.
Empowering the teachers and students and giving them freedom to explore, experiment, and discover.
For me, the power word is engage. Engage the teachers, engage the children. You tell them, they will forget. But if you engage them, they will learn and they will learn forever. And through technology, you can engage all of them.
Thank you.
As I said, create a vision. So to me, share the vision with the team is very important.
Thank you. So now we'll open the floor for discussion and Q&A from the audience. So you're welcome to raise questions, please. Yeah. Could you please use the mic? Absolutely, yes.
I want to share with you that Ramjas School has 4 unaided schools and about 10 aided schools. We are a mix of schools. And when we started with technology, our first target was the aided school teachers. We first called the teachers and trained them all in various ways. And now what we are doing is we are calling their children in groups and training them in various things, even in Microsoft also. So we are sharing, we are ready to share our computers as well. We have offered to them that this is the time when our school gets over. If anybody is interested, they can come and sit in our labs also. So that sharing is very much there.
Also, to add on to this, I would also say that a lot of schools in Delhi and NCR have been given the Atal Tinkering Labs. And all of us, where our own children are engaged in coding and making the robots, the nearby schools who do not have the access to such advanced labs also come to our schools in the afternoon, and they make use of these labs. And apart from that, we also have the Microsoft Imagine Academy, which we set up along with the Rotary. So a lot of Microsoft certifications are done through that academy for the people who cannot afford any kind of certification from the Microsoft as well. So it's open to not just the school children, but you can open it to the community also. So today, even if there is a guard at the gate, he also needs to know the technology, because if he has to make a pass through the computer, he has to use the technology there. So the infrastructure is not just open for the remote schools, but it is also open for community at large.
So, yes, so can I intervene here? So, we have something called as Microsoft Educator community. So, everything, so you all that you need is just a login and a password, and the whole world of online content is available to you. There are no costs at, and yeah, so right. Yeah.
Yeah, sir, I like to share with you the sway that the children make, and they post it online. I mean, it is an online tool. So when they have made their presentation, hundreds of children make their presentation, and it is there for every other child also across the globe to source it. So we want something. Our children just go refer to sway presentations of others, and they get it. So it is class wise and it is subject wise also. It is available.
And also to add on, as ma'am told about Microsoft community, so we have a Yammer group also, wherein the students can equally participate. So all the professors, the college, the educators, the teachers, and different level of educators are there on that group, where we just put in the questions and we put in our links and we explore the whole new world across with them. So it is never restricted in any of the ways. Even if you want to, like you are a teacher of chemistry and you want to learn about political science or anything, you can put in any questions and any links, and you will get lot of results for those. So Yammer is also a very extensive and a very effective tool.
Yeah. Could we have?
The hurdles faced by you people as administrators, one simple and a major hurdle is retaining the trained staff. Retaining the trained staff. Uh, Now, to carry on this aspect of including a transformation through technology, you are training your staff, and they need to be there for some time at least to train your children further. So how do you tackle this issue? Yeah, in a way.
Yeah.
Yes.
But like madam says, attrition is, I don't think it's a very relevant to what we are talking now, but yeah, I understand what you're saying. But what happens, the ownership, like she was saying, is not with one teacher. The minute a tool is introduced, it is transparent and made available across levels. So it is not necessarily it stays with a computer teacher or with an MIE. It moves to everybody. So even if one person goes, it is not dependent on a single person. It is dependent across a system. It becomes a system where it's available to everybody. And the tools are so easy that you can access them and be online with them. And secondly, you need to upgrade yourself. Even the teacher who's there, who's trained, every 3 months, every 6 months, it is something, a newer version is coming. So it becomes a part of the school. So we should not look at one particular teacher, but the entire faculty being involved in the technology change.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, the applications are on for applying for the next round of Atal Tinkering Labs. So the Niti Aayog actually wants the children to become entrepreneurs. We all know that our Prime Minister has a focus on digital India, and he's looking for these children to create jobs rather than to seek jobs. So, in order to get that skill of entrepreneurship, and also for them to get interested in coding and in artificial intelligence, there are schools who have got a grant of 20 lakhs INRs, which have been given by the Niti Aayog to the schools for a period of 5 years. So the initial grant that has come to us is for about 12 lakhs, in which we've set up our labs. And we've, since our children were already doing a lot of work, so we have not just the basic kits, we've gone up to the advanced kits. So now the children will make their own robots, they will program them, they will create their own programs, etc. They will create their own models and structures. And this lab is also open to the children of the neighboring schools. So they have to, the schools have to write to the center that so and so child from our school would like to come to your school in order to use your tinkering lab in the evenings. So it is for the community that these labs have been set up, and through these labs then inter-school events are done, some competitions, some simply fests, and now even Microsoft is going to mentor a few Atal Tinkering Labs where they will teach, they will have their scientists. I think Viniji
Yeah,
will be able
yeah.
to tell more
Right.
about it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we have adopted 25 schools in the first phase, but each of these 25 schools will reach out to another 25 to 40 schools in the vicinity. So what we're going to do is develop mentors in these 25 schools and expose them on Internet of Things, cloud technologies, and promote entrepreneurship, providing curriculum on entrepreneurship. And then student projects will be driven on artificial intelligence and Internet of Things, and they will solve a problem that matters to India. And then online we have opened up a channel for all the schools in India to participate on entrepreneurship and innovation. They can pick up any area such as energy, environment, child education, digital literacy, access to citizenship services, solve that problem using technology. And then the best teams will get recognition and venture capital exposure to venture capital capitalists as well, and exposure to labs. So each of these 25 schools will act as harbingers of change in their community. So it's going to be a great partnership. And as the schools get increased, I think they have a plan to do another 1,500 schools. So I think we will expand the horizons as it gets
It's actually a
amplified.
plan of having 2,000 schools across the country, which will be the Atal Tinkering Labs in the first phase. So the first phase is going on. So if you've applied, I'm quite sure they're looking at the schools which can become the hubs of excellence here, and also, cater to the community around them.
I don't have a question, but I have a concern being a counseling psychologist that when we are talking about all the digital India and we are talking about artificial intelligence and all, as a psychologist and as a school counselor, what I have seen that it is giving rise to a new set of problems. So when we are taking care of artificial intelligence and digital India, we should also, you know, take into consideration what are the different kinds of new problems which are coming up among school students. And I think at the same time, we should also build up a system where these kids can be helped. May it be cyberbullying, may it be social media, may it be expression of emotions, because on Facebook they post something else, other emoticons, but they might be undergoing a lot of depression or frustration or aggression. But emoticons will always be a happy face, and they always want to look cool. Right. And also, because what I've seen that nowadays students have more of virtual friends rather than real friends, so their social skills are really coming down, and I can see a lot of psychological problems which are coming up. So it looks very glamorous and very motivating, encouraging when I hear all this, but at the same time my concern is that we should equally equip and empower our school counselors to look into these factors, maybe having a lot of sessions on these things, as ma'am was also talking about spiritual quotient, and as we have already mentioned that collaborative work and critical thinking are the main skills which will be required in 21st century. So it is a concern.
Your concern is absolutely very, very valid, I would say. But at the same time, technology is there. You cannot ignore it. If you will not get it into your schools, your children are using the technology anyways all the time. You have to talk to the children constantly about cyberbullying. You have to constantly tell them that if you are using the technology, use it very, very responsibly. If you will talk to them, you will make them aware of the pros and the cons. They will refrain from using it negatively. That is one thing. Second thing, human contact is anyways going down. If there are four people sitting on a table, each one of them with a smartphone, each one of them is in their own, in their doing their own thing. That's of course there, but then you can't. You can only talk about it, but you can't do anything about not getting the technology into the classrooms.
No, I'm not at all against technology at all. I do a lot of work through smartphone. I'm not at all against it. I'm just saying that at the same time, let's give importance to that
Yes.
also. Maybe introducing Skype counseling sessions. I don't know. I'm also brainstorming.
Right.
How to reach out to people.
So there are aspects around that. There can be, as Jyoti ji rightly pointed out, there is coaching that is required and educating the students on the right use of technology. On cyber security, we are partnering with EC Council. There are numerous bodies worldwide who, where cybersecurity is a big area of concern, and we have seen various kinds of threats that are emanating as well, both at a commercial level and at a personal level. So we're doing some pilots on cybersecurity for students from grade 6 to grade 12. And there are going to be some pilots, and basis those pilots, there's going to be a curriculum that is being developed so that in a systematic manner we expose on the right use of social media, what are the risks attached, and like everything else, if we kind of do a dedicated and a structured effort in this direction, things would be very different. Lack of awareness and lack of knowledge leads to a lot of problems. And also, technology comes with a lot of checks and balances as well. If one knows how to use them in an organizational setting, a lot of things can be prevented. So we can kind of share that with all of you.
I would like to share here that in our school, in every class, when we teach computers, the first lesson is cyber safety and cyber laws. In every class, we try and teach that first, and then we teach the computer. Because it is extremely important that we tell our children again and again that these are the laws. This is how to keep yourself safe. So, all that has to be done.
So we'll just wrap up the conversation here. Thanks for the wonderful panelists. Thanks for your great inputs and keeping up the time as well. We had a very, very disciplined panel. We appreciate your leadership and sharing your experiences. And I thank all the audience as well for making the discussion so rich and lively. So as we move forward, I think lots can be achieved. We have huge new milestones to cover with the onset of social, cloud, mobility, data sciences. There are many new things that we kind of can usher it into education in a formalized learning manner. And with partnership, I think we can go places. Thank you very much.